But let's bring you the latest news and not noise in the case of Sushant Singh Rajput. The big breaking news that's coming in is a few hours after Sushant Singh Rajput's family released WhatsApp messages sent to a Mumbai DCP in February claiming that there was a threat to Sushant's life. The Mumbai police has formally responded to the claim, says Sushant's brother-in-law, who sent the WhatsApp message and is an IPS officer, refused to file a written complaint, instead wanted the issue to be resolved informally. This is only the latest in the battle that's going on between Sushant Singh Rajput's family, which wants the case investigated by the Bihar police, and the Mumbai police, which says that they are fully empowered and are on the right track in the case. Let's first hear from the father of Sushant Singh Rajput what he had to say about this.
25 फरवरी को मैंने बांदा पुलिस को आगाह किया था कि मेरे बेटे सुशांत की जान को खतरा है, परंतु उन्होंने कुछ नहीं किया। 14 जून को जब मेरे बेटे की जान चली गई तो हमने 25 फरवरी में नामित लोगों के विरुद्ध एक्शन लेने को कहा, परंतु 40 दिन के बीत जाने के बाद भी उन्होंने कोई कार्रवाई नहीं की। हार होकर मैं पटना गया और अपने थाने में केस FIR दर्ज की। पटना पुलिस तुरंत एक्शन में आई और परंतु मुजरिम अब भाग रहे हैं। हम सभी को चाहिए कि पटना पुलिस को मदद करें। मैं श्री नीतीश कुमार जी, माननीय मुख्यमंत्री बिहार और उनके सहयोगी मंत्री श्री संजय झा जी का आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ।
Let's go straight across to our Mumbai Bureau Chief Sahil Joshi for the very latest. Sahil, the Mumbai police claiming that they got a complaint on WhatsApp, but saying that they did not act on it because there was no formal written complaint. But have they at least inquired into this angle at all in the last few months, that possibly, as the family claimed in February, there was a threat to the life of Sushant Singh Rajput?
You know, that is the reason why what Mumbai police says and which the Mumbai police commissioner Parambir Singh in his press conference when he spoke to us said it very categorically, that they kept asking the family that if they want to make any kind of a written statement about it, if they want to make allegation on any particular person, that the person might be the reason for Sushant Singh Rajput to take this extreme step. None of the family members came forward, including OP Singh, his brother-in-law, who was present at the time of postmortem in Mumbai. None of them gave any kind of a statement. In fact, the police also says that after they retrieved certain messages from Sushant Singh Rajput's mobile phone, then they again contacted the family so that the family can come forward and explain them about these messages, also can talk about if they have to make any kind of a complaint against someone, if they suspect that someone might be reason for Sushant Singh Rajput to take such kind of an extreme step. None of the family members came forward, and suddenly they went ahead and registered a complaint with the Bihar police. That's what the Mumbai police position is on this particular SMSs. Now, the family says, as we played the clip of Sushant Singh Rajput's father, he has clearly said that they had complained to the Mumbai police, but the Mumbai police says that the mere WhatsApp complaint or WhatsApp message cannot be taken as a official complaint, because both the people, Sushant Singh Rajput or Riya Chakravarti, were staying together. They were in the relationship, and unofficially such kind of matters cannot be sorted. It needs a proper complaint. Only then the police can actually act in this. Most of the time it's a family fault in which the police gets hampered with. So that's why the police wanted an official complaint in this case, and that's the official position at this point of time from Mumbai police.
Okay, Sahil Joshi telling us the very latest on that. Appreciate your joining us. As I said, it's become a police and a political war that is now growing between the Bihar and Maharashtra police. After the Patna SP, who is probing Sushant Singh Rajput's death case and came to Mumbai, was immediately put under quarantine by the BMC officials last night. The Bihar police claims their IPS officer was forcibly quarantined. The Mumbai police is very clear. Its commissioner says Bihar has no jurisdiction over this case. Is therefore the case becoming less about law and evidence and more about politics and public sentiment? Here's more.
It's khaki versus khaki. The fight between Mumbai and Bihar police is now out in the open for everyone to see. The IPS officer sent by Bihar police to investigate the death of Bollywood star Sushant Singh Rajput is sent to 14 days quarantine by the BMC. SP Vinay Tiwari had reached Mumbai on Sunday to monitor the Bihar police probe.
पटना के आईजी साहब बीएमसी के चीफ को आज एक पत्र लिख रहे हैं, अनुरोध कर रहे हैं। ये उचित नहीं हुआ है। उनकी गाइडलाइन में है कि उसको, उस पदाधिकारी को ये एग्जम्पशन दिया जा सकता था।
इसके बारे में रिएक्शन तो बीएमसी कमिश्नर ही दे सकते हैं, तो बीएमसी ने अपने रूल के हिसाब से कार्रवाई की होगी, आई एम श्योर, एंड बीएमसी विल एड्रेस दिस इशू।
The BMC claims it is only going by the norms. All those who come to Mumbai for a stay of more than 7 days are to undergo quarantine. The civic body alleges the Bihar SP refused to be quarantined when he landed at the airport. It had to send officials to the SRPF guest house, where Vinay Tiwari is lodged, to stamp the quarantine order. The BMC claims the police officer was unable to produce any exemption letter. The face-off between the police forces has sparked a political war at the highest levels. Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar has spoken out.
उनके साथ जो कुछ भी हुआ है ये ठीक नहीं है। ये बातचीत करेंगे। जो कानूनी जिम्मेवारी है बिहार पुलिस के प्रति, उस जिम्मेवारी को हम निभाएं।
देखो, ये हवा में जो तीर छोड़ते हैं ना, ये राजनीति में नहीं मानता। काम पुलिस को उनका काम करने दीजिए। मुंबई पुलिस के ऊपर भरोसा रखिए। ये महाराष्ट्र है, ये महाराष्ट्र है, इतना में बोल, और ये मुंबई पुलिस है।
The Supreme Court is set to take up Riya Chakrabarti's petition demanding transfer of Bihar police case to Mumbai on Wednesday. Till the court gives its ruling on that plea, the Mumbai police versus Bihar police battle is unlikely to be resolved. With Divyesh Singh and Pankaj Upadhyay in Mumbai and Sujit Jha and Rohit Singh in Patna, Bureau Report, India Today.
And let's now go straight across to the Bihar DGP. Gupteshwar Pandey is the Bihar DGP. He joins me now. Appreciate your joining us, Mr. Pandey. This is a case which is now becoming Mumbai police versus Bihar police. The Mumbai police tells me very clearly the Bihar police is clearly acting out of its jurisdiction. The alleged suicide happened in Mumbai. The case is being investigated in Mumbai. How can the Bihar police suddenly land and claim that they want to also investigate it? You can't have a parallel investigation. How do you respond?
Sir, there is no need to debate on this issue, on jurisdiction issue, because this is the language of Riya Chakrabarti. In fact, Riya Chakrabarti has moved to the Honorable Supreme Court on this ground only. She says Bihar police doesn't have jurisdiction, don't have jurisdiction over this case. They can't register FIR, they can't investigate this case. This is what Riya Chakrabarti had told the Supreme Court. And a verdict is likely to come, maybe after 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, when hearing is done, a verdict will come from Honorable Supreme Court. But this is the language of Riya Chakrabarti which Mumbai police is speaking. I am telling one thing in single line, it's not a simple case of suicide. It's also a case of criminal misappropriation and criminal breach of trust. And it is also a case of, you go through the FIR, it will be very clear.
Mr. Pandey, the Mumbai police claims that whether it's a case of suicide, whether it is the case of criminal misappropriation of funds, as the family of Sushant Singh Rajput is claiming, all of this can be solved in Mumbai police. They are saying the Bihar police should stay out, allow the Mumbai police to finish the investigation. Then if you have a problem, you can come in and seek further evidence. At this stage, to come in the manner that you have is unfair to the Mumbai police. You are stepping out. This is not the protocol. You are stepping out of line.
No. I'll tell you. Criminal misappropriation and criminal breach of trust, and not only this. This is also a case of embezzlement of account, property. And who is, see, in last 4 years, 50 crores came into his account and all those money were spent. In last 1 year, 17 crores came to his Sushant account, and out of this 17, 15 crore rupees has been already spent. Where this money has gone? So this is a matter of investigation. Who is the natural heir of Sushant? Sushant doesn't have a wife. He was not married. Sushant doesn't have mother. So he is the only, his father is the only family member, and he is natural heir. He is natural heir of all the property of Sushant. And where does he reside? He resides here in Patna under Rajiv Nagar police station. So partial cause of action is here also. Maybe main cause of action there in Mumbai, but partial cause of action here only.
Sir, that is precisely it. The main cause of action is in Mumbai. There is an ongoing investigation. According to the police, the better way out would be for the Bihar police to work with the Mumbai police rather than say we are conducting our own parallel investigation. Why not cooperate with the Mumbai police and work together?
I am telling you, Rajdeep bhai, what investigation they have done. ADR has been registered over here. More than 50 days, I think this incident took place on 14, and more than 50 days have already passed. What inquiry they have completed? What inquiry have done? Tell me, on this account, did you go to bank to find out how much money was deposited in account and how much money had been taken out in last 1 year? Out of 17 crores, 15 crore money has been taken out. Where
Pandeyji,
this account?
Pandeyji, all these accounts, what you are claiming, these are allegations at the moment. They will have to be proven in a court of law through evidence. The belief, at least what the Maharashtra government is now claiming, and they've gone on record, is that there are elections in Bihar this year. That is why Bihar politicians are jumping up and down. An atmosphere of public sentiment is being created through social media. But law does not work on sentiment, it works on evidence.
Sir, where does this politics come into picture? I don't know. I don't know. One day, one fine morning, this 60, 70 years old poor man, helpless father, he goes to the police station. He didn't take any advice from me or you for any. He goes to the SHO and he registered FIR. And then once FIR has been lodged, it is mandatory on the part of the officer to investigate it. FIR was lodged on 25th. On 27th, my team, 4 members team, reached Mumbai, and DCP Bandra refused to meet. DCP investigation or DCP Detective 1 refused to meet. On 29th, I had advised by DCP Bandra, 4-member team reached the office of DCP Detective 1, and they waited there for more than 5-6 hours, and DCP didn't turn up. And not only this, you will be surprised to know all the staff, they disappeared. Nobody was there, and they came back. Despite of this, their best efforts, they have not been able to meet any senior officer. Nobody is meeting, nobody is ready to share any information. At least they should have been called to their office, and the officer must have discussed, look, this is, or they should give in writing, we won't allow you to investigate the case in Maharashtra, you don't have any jurisdiction, go back, we'll come back, no issue.
You know,
this is what they are doing indirectly.
You know, the fact is that what we now are finding, Mr. Pandey, with due regards, is 2 state governments fighting with each other over a case. The Maharashtra government and police are saying the matter is in the Supreme Court. Riya Chakrabarti and her lawyers have asked that the Bihar police not be allowed to investigate because the Mumbai police is already carrying out an investigation. The hearing is on Wednesday. They are saying that the Bihar police should have filed a 0 FIR which allows jurisdiction in any police station rather than coming to Mumbai, launching a parallel probe of this nature. Therefore, I mean, surely this can be sorted out. You are an IPS officer, sort it out with the DGP of Maharashtra.
Rajdeep bhai, this could have been done amicably also. What do you need to quarantine an IPS officer? It's a kind of house arrest. IPS officer is going, he is going with prior information. Before he landed up there, official information I said, accommodation was requested in the IPS mess. You didn't provide accommodation in IPS mess. You didn't provide him vehicle. And when he arranged his own accommodation and shifted somewhere, at midnight at around 11, you are sending BMC officials.
Sir, tomorrow if there was a suicide or a case of alleged murder in Bihar, in Patna, would you allow the Mumbai police to come in and investigate it simply because an FIR has been filed in Mumbai? Let's be very clear. The charge here is protocol. If today this is the way police officers are going to carry out their own parallel investigation, then we might as well not have any federal system in this country.
They should have written, they should have got to send a letter, official letter to us. that Mr. DGP, why you are sending your team? I tried my best to contact DGP Maharashtra. I have sent a message also, and but he didn't respond, he didn't talk, he didn't respond to my message. That is a different thing. But the same day where this incident had taken place, this case, incident of so-called suicide, that day also I tried to contact CP Mumbai. I called him, he didn't respond. Then I sent him message also introducing myself that I am DGP Bihar Gupteshwar Pandey, want to know something. I didn't know this case is going to be so complicated. It will take so ugly turn. But I just wanted to know how did it happen.
So the Mumbai police says they are, as I said, they have interrogated the family. At that stage, family did not say any of this what they are saying now. They are saying this is an afterthought, and now the case is being taken over by the Bihar police because of public sentiment and or political pressure. Be honest with us. Is there any political pressure? Is this case being taken because there is public sentiment? Can you do law investigation on the basis of sentiment?
No, not at. So absolutely not. It's totally rumor. These people are spreading. I don't know who is spreading this. This poor man, retired person, more than 70 years old person, he cannot go and fight this case at Mumbai. And because partial cause of action is here also, then when he goes to the police station, SHO registered the case. This is totally false allegation, completely baseless. There is no truth in it, Rajdeep Bhai.
But according to Maharashtra police, sir, I maintain this is what they say, this is a witch hunt. They are saying the Bihar police wants to somehow or the other fix Riya Chakravarti, and that is why you are coming to Mumbai to try and fix her. How do you respond?
Rajdeep Bhai, please listen, Rajdeep Bhai, what enmity I have got with Priya Chakravarti? I don't even know her. I have nothing to do with Priya Chakravarti. For the first time, I never watch movie, I am telling you. I don't know, I don't even recognize any cine star, except a few, of course. I don't have any interest. I don't watch movie. For the first time I heard name of Priya Chakravarti. I don't have any personal enmity. I don't think anybody in Bihar has any personal enmity with Priya Chakravarti. Why should I fix her? Why should I try to fix her? I guarantee that if there is no evidence against her, nothing will be done to her. Impartial, 100% impartial investigation is guaranteed. We don't have any personal enmity with anybody. All 6 accused are there.
I'll ask you one last time. There is no political pressure today on you, Mr. Pandey, in an election year. You are giving me that complete assurance. No politician is ringing you up saying, let's somehow or the other take this case as Bihar versus Maharashtra.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nobody has any personal enmity with Riya Chakravarti, I can assure you. Believe me, nobody. And I am telling you, I ensure you 100% impartial investigation if the case is handed over to Bihar police. I sympathize. I don't know who is advising her to hide. She can hide game. This is not good. I am telling her, I told several times on different channels, if she is innocent, she should come forward for the statement. Why she is playing this hide and seek game? We don't have any enmity with anybody. Forget about Riya Chakravarti.
Okay, Gupteshwar Pandey, the Bihar DGP, saying that they have no enmity against Riya Chakravarti or anyone. They just want to investigate this case, they say, in a fair manner, raising questions over the Mumbai police investigation. Appreciate your joining me here on the news today. Let's get the other perspective. Priyanka Chaturvedi, the Shiv Sena's member of parliament in the Rajya Sabha, is now joining us. Appreciate your joining us, Priyanka Chaturvedi. The big question is simply what you just heard from the Bihar police. They claim that the Mumbai police is not doing a fair investigation in their view. Therefore, they feel the reason to provide justice to the family of Sushant Singh Rajput, it's necessary for the Bihar police to investigate, particularly the angle of alleged financial wrongdoings.
Firstly, Rajdeep, I'd like to say one thing up front. As a fan of Sushant Singh Rajput, even I would want to see whatever happened and whatever investigation that needs to take place happens. But however, I found it extremely surprising that the DGP of Bihar Police, Gupteshwar Pandey, was making some unfounded claims, unfounded, I would say, blame game that he has begun, and he was sounding a lot more political than a person who is an IPS officer who's been given charge.
No, he's
to
saying there's no
investigate.
political pressure. He's saying there is no political pressure. In fact, the charge is that it's in Mumbai that there is political pressure, and the charge that even the BJP is making in Mumbai, they want the case handed over to the CBI because they believe your government is putting pressure on the Mumbai police not to investigate it properly.
You know, without getting into the past history, 2009 is witness to politics and Gupteshwar Pandeyji's role in political system. So I don't want to get into that because this is about the way he was sounding. I wasn't trying to tell you that as an IPS officer, his job is to investigate, which I'm hoping that he would look at. And whenever you are looking at such a case, cooperation rather than confrontation is most welcome. This is a federal system. An incident has happened in Mumbai, in the jurisdiction of Mumbai police, and an investigation was midway through. Before these charges started being flown in from Bihar police, that there was no cooperation, every single thing that they were doing was being leaked out to the media. Lots of conspiracy theories were coming forward, and I think the difference between how the Mumbai Police Commissioner handled all the questions vis-a-vis how the DGP Bihar is speaking right now will tell you everything in itself. All the questions that were raised by the media, whether it is about the CCTV footage, whether it is about the so-called party that happened, whether it was the presence of some political person at that party, everything was answered. So these kind of conspiracy theories are unfounded, and in a federal structure, I think it is important that protocols are maintained. He has, I mean, I was listening to him right now and I was very upset because I have seen a lot of his viral videos myself. But what he was claiming here is that Bihar police is being obstructed. All Bihar police is expected to do, and I think any state police would expect you to do, is to follow the protocol of the state and not to start, accusing the state police of not doing their job.
No. One minute. Their argument is an IPS officer, Priyanka Chaturvedi, lands up in Mumbai. He is put under quarantine. He is not allowed, according to them, to even venture out and support his other 4 Bihar officers who are already there carrying out their investigation based on an FIR filed by Sushant Singh Rajput's father. Their claim is that they even rang up the Mumbai DGP asking permission, and at every stage they are being blocked.
No, that's an unfair charge to make. Like I said, from the day one, there hasn't been a spirited cooperation, the idea of cooperation during the investigation, but more of a confrontation. We have seen this from day one. Now, in terms of this particular IPS officer who was flown in yesterday, as per the protocol of the state government, this city has seen, Mumbai city has seen COVID cases rise. We have managed to bring it under control. State has some guidelines which everybody needs to follow. All the BMC did, and by the way, he was out investigating, and Mumbai police, the BMC waited for him to return to his place where he was staying, and all they did was inform him that these are the guidelines, and if he wants to continue his investigation, tomorrow there's one particular small formality that needs to be done, which he needs to follow. But Mr. Gupteshwar Pandeyji went on social media and he said he has been asked to quarantine, he's been put into isolation, which is actually half the truth.
No, Priyanka Chaturvedi, it is 45 days now. You said you also want to see the truth in this case. It's 50 days now. With every week, some new element is coming. Some may well be conspiracy theories, but all of this needs to be in some way, at some stage, put out in a manner that people believe. There's a perception problem at the moment because all kinds of perceptions are being put forward. Is the Mumbai police in any position, therefore, to tell exactly what happened with Sushant Singh Rajput 50 days later?
So firstly, this is not like an investigation that is like Maggie noodles, that in 2 minutes you'll have your investigation report filed and given and submitted to the people of this country, because social media has started this entire narrative, which is totally politically driven. If you look at the social media behavior, it will tell you which side it's coming from. Social media behavior will also tell you that while Bihar government is battling floods, is battling questions on COVID, is battling on the misgovernance of the Bihar government, they are more focused on trying to, I would say, digress from the issue at hand, because their misgovernance will be questioned by the people of Bihar. Who can forget the Chief Minister did not even ensure that the students who were stuck in Kota would reach back Bihar? Who would also forget that the chief minister continued to be silent when people of Bihar wanted to come back to their state, and it was the Maharashtra government which was helping them reach their state? So these are kind of questions that the chief minister needs to answer, but they are digressing from that point. However, they're welcome to investigate. But however, it is not okay for them to accuse state police of not doing their job or not knowing their job, because Mumbai police happens to be one of the best amongst the world. It is compared to the Scotland Yard of the world, and comparing and reducing them to their so-called narrative. And if Bihar police, I want to understand from Bihar police, there's so many investigation cases which are pending. There's a CBI case pending of Muzaffarpur, which I'm sure Gupteshwar Pandey knows about, and he should be talking about it. There's the Muzaffarpur women child shelter home that is still under investigation. So I will not get into that.
No, you are. I'm going to ask you ma'am, let's not get into what the Bihar police has done or not in previous cases. I am asking you, the Mumbai police in this case, is it very clear that it is going to look at all the angles, from the financial alleged wrongdoings to the report suggesting that there is more to than meets the eye in the case? Is the Mumbai police going to go into this case without any pressure? That there is no one in your government who is putting pressure on the Mumbai police?
Firstly, there is zero pressure on Mumbai police. And Rajdeep, you have followed investigative journalism. Mumbai police have broken the back of the underworld that used to exist in Mumbai. Mumbai police has broken so many investigation cases. We have seen this, and history is witness to what Mumbai police is capable of. So to assume that they will be under some kind of pressure is absolutely ridiculous, unfounded, and politically driven narrative coming from the Bharatiya Janata Party, because they are sore opposition party which is sitting in Maharashtra government, but is not even, I would say, upholding the responsibility that an opposition party should bring to the table. And they know there is an election coming in Bihar, and perhaps it might just help their political party to set the narrative there. That is aside. But all I'll say is, and I'll end it with this: they're working under no pressure. They will investigate every single angle. They have summoned 56 people. Their statements have been recorded, including the family members. And I believe Shri O.P. Singh, who has also asked for the investigation from Bihar police, was also present when these statements were being recorded of family members. All of this was made very clear by the Mumbai Police Commissioner. And I think anything above that is mere politicking, which is unfortunate. Because
let's leave it there, Priyanka Chaturvedi.
I would want to see justice done.
Okay, let's leave it there. You've given your perspective. We've heard from the Bihar DGP, and that's what we do on the news today. We give equal opportunity to hear both perspectives and then leave it to the viewers. This is news without the noise. Let's turn to the next big story. Jammu and Kashmir will complete its first year anniversary since the effective scrapping of Article 370 and its reduction to a union territory. Several politicians from the state remain either in formal or informal detention. The Public Safety Act against Mehbooba Mufti was extended over the weekend for 3 more months. Let's take a look as Kamaljeet now reports on the situation in the valley 2 days ahead of that first anniversary.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सामने इस गवर्नमेंट ने उस गवर्नमेंट ने कहा कि
These visuals of Congress leader Saifuddin Soz went viral last week after the frail and aging leader was not allowed to meet the media persons outside his home. A contrast came when People's Conference leader Sajjad Loon was released from home detention on 31st July. His photos with bouquets and smiles camouflage the pain he suffered the year gone by. But it's PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti who has been most hard hit. Once an alliance partner of the BJP, her detention under the Public Safety Act has been extended by 3 months. The party will observe the first anniversary of scrapping of Kashmir's special status as a Black Day.
All these decisions are taken by the MHA and the PMO. The split was orchestrated in her party is just to make an example out of her that if you don't fall in line, then this is what is going to happen to you as well.
The Abdullahs were released earlier, but till recently they maintained a stoic silence. The abrogation of Article 370 and 35A was meant to unify Kashmir with the country further. But instead, it seems to have crippled mainstream politics in the valley.
We cautioned the country, the leadership, that things are going, it is a misadventure and we are not going to achieve anything by abrogating Article 370 and 335A. You will not find a single soul who will just support 5th August decisions. You don't have courage to restore 4G. And at what cost? At cost of making online class inaccessible to 2.5 million students, and making business impossible to hoteliers and other businessmen.
The year-long detention has made the struggle harder for the leaders to interact with their constituency members. But surprisingly, not everyone feels empathy for them, with several quarters being skeptical of the survival of the Abdullahs and Muftis.
For us, one thing is visible, that the Dinos who has handheld all the things of Kashmir in their kitties, that thing is over. And after 370 and 35A, it gave a vacuum and void to a new generation, where you are seeing us, participating in the electoral politics. We came up and launched a new political front by the name of Jammu Kashmir Workers Party, and we're getting overwhelming response.
It's been a year to August 5th, and there is still no clarity which way political mainstream parties are headed. With detentions and eventually phase-wise release, the political parties in Kashmir Valley are sensing a setback. The question is whether Centre will step in and give them a sense of confidence. With camera person Vinod, this is Kamaljeet Sandhu in Srinagar for India Today.
And joining me now is Iltija Mufti, the daughter of the former J&K Chief Minister and PDP leader, Mehbooba Mufti. Appreciate your joining us, Iltija Mufti. I know this is a tough time for you and your family. Your mother's detention has been extended by another 3 months under the Public Safety Act. I just want to ask you, your mother is the only senior mainstream leader now who in a sense continues to be under detention a year later. Have you given up hope? Is there a sense of resignation that she's not going to come out now in a hurry?
I don't think if we can give up hope and be full of despair. I mean, Rajdeep, this is just not about Miss Mufti. There's so many people, thousands of people who continue to remain under illegal arbitrary detention in Jammu and Kashmir and outside Jammu and Kashmir. And let's not forget, Rajdeep, a year after the abrogation of Article 370, the larger debate is how much have people suffered? They've suffered devastating losses, whether it's emotional, whether it's financial, whether it's that sense of alienation, disempowerment that we feel. So I don't want to reduce the debate about my mother and when she'll be released. Obviously, I want her to be a free person. I think in a democracy, it's a cause of grave concern if a leader, if a political leader, or anybody else for that matter, an individual, has not been seen in public for the past 1 year. My mother has not been seen in public since 5th August 2019. And I think that's a matter of grave concern for the world's largest democracy like India.
You know, you're saying, of course, that you haven't, your mother hasn't been able to come out of detention for a year now. Now, in the first PSA dossier against Mehbooba Mufti, the J&K administration referred to the green color of the PDP flag, the resemblance of the election symbol with that of the Muslim United Front that had been formed in 1987, and her refusal to sign a bond that she would not talk about the scrapping of Article 370 as the reason for slapping PSA against her. So the government is saying, look, we are ready to try and consider releasing her, but these are our conditions. How do you respond?
It's laughable. I mean, first of all, you infringe upon a person's individual rights, their constitutional liberties, their sense of personal liberty. And then you're saying that you've done something illegal, you've done something arbitrary. And then you're telling the person that here are these conditions. And if you don't fulfill these conditions, we cannot release you and it will be a conditional release. And for your information, Rajdeep, yes, you're absolutely right. They tried to get her to sign her a bond. But I'm proud of the fact that my mother threw this bond in their face because that's where it truly belongs. This bond belongs in the dustbin.
You know, those are strong words. This bond belongs in a dustbin. But the fact is that according to the administration, the situation in J&K is still not fully conducive for a resumption of, dare I say, mainstream political activity.
I am confused because they say that there is peace here. They say people are happy. They say there's calm. then the Solicitor General goes and he lies in the Supreme Court, the highest court of this country, and he says that we can't resume 3G because there is fear of terrorism, there is fear of cross infiltration, militancy going up. So this government lies about everything, Rajdeep. How can we believe anything that they say at face value? They've lied, they fudge GDP facts, they even lie about pandemic COVID figures. So how do you really expect them to come up with the truth? They present alternate facts, alternate reality, WhatsApp forwards, fake news. This is their legacy. And this is what this government thrives on. This is what they derive their power from.
But a year later, the government also says that the police has been given a much freer hand, the CRPF has a freer hand, therefore a number of terrorist activities, number of terrorist incidents are actually coming down. They believe, give it time, the situation will come back to normal, and therefore the government deserves that time to get the situation fully under control. J&K is just not another region. It is a highly sensitive region, and that's why the government needs to do this step by step.
Rajdeep, I think they're just tying themselves up in knots. Like I said, what you're saying is full of contradictions. You're saying that the government has said that the police needs to be given a free hand. Oh, absolutely. They've given the police a full free hand. If you look at Jammu and Kashmir, it's been a police state for the past 1 year. The police has been harassing journalists. They just arrested a very young man. His name is Qadi Shibli. And his fault is that he prints the truth. He's been arrested by the cyber police in Srinagar. So this is what they've been up to. And of course, they'll be given a free hand. And the version that you're giving me sounds full of contradictions. Internationally, at UN, on other forums, whenever other countries ask them about what's going on in Kashmir, they say that this was done for the development. Everything there is fine. Then on the other hand, they say that we need time to stabilize the situation. I don't understand why this government keeps issuing contradictory statements. Maybe it's time that they come clean that this was done to disempower the people of Jammu and Kashmir.
But you've got an Omar Abdullah, who's been released. You've got a Sajjad Lone who's been released. Mehbooba Mufti, according to them, Iltija Mufti is someone who is likely to inflame passions, who is speaking a language, according to government officials, that's the language of Pakistan. She's seen and branded, therefore, in the eyes of a section of the state as anti-national.
Rajdeep, tell me, what is Sudha Bhardwaj's fault? Why has she been languishing in a jail for the past 2 years? She is a lawyer who studied at Harvard. What about Sanjeev Bhatt? What felony has he committed? What about that, there's an old gentleman, I think his name is Anand Telumbe. He's also an activist. So please don't give me this reason. The Prime Minister is going to go to Ayodhya on the 5th of August, and he's going to be accompanied by veteran BJP leaders who were known to play a role in the demolition of Babri Masjid, Rajdeep. Are you telling me that my mother deserves to be in jail because she wants to express dissent and they're averse to hearing the truth, but they are okay with veteran BJP leaders not being tried in court for having played an instrumental role in the demolition of a mosque?
So you're saying dissent is being criminalized by the government. Your mother, you're saying, is a dissenter. She's not speaking the language of Pakistan, but she's speaking the language of dissent. Let me ask you, though, it's interesting that you mentioned Ayodhya, because August 5th will be the first anniversary of Article 370 being effectively annulled, and also the Bhumi Pujan of the Ram Janmabhoomi. In a sense, therefore, the focus will be, presumably, at least in large parts of the media, on what's happening in Ayodhya, and Kashmir will be in the backdrop.
Yeah, which is deliberate, you see.
You think it's deliberate?
This serves the timing of the Prime Minister inaugurating or laying the foundation of the Ram Mandir temple in Ayodhya. It has it serves, two purposes. First of all, it covers, provides them with a cover up to hide, the monumental failure that that they've seen, that the abrogation, the fallout of the abrogation of Article 370, they want to sweep that under the rug. Second of all, the BJP wants to tell its electorate that every year we are going to demonize Muslims, we are going to demonize minorities. We began by cleaving the only Muslim majority state in India, depriving them, taking their constitutional rights, taking their constitutionally promised semi-autonomous status. And every year, don't worry, we will keep punishing Muslims. So last year it was punishing the Muslims of Jammu
No,
and Kashmir. Hold on, just give me 1 minute. And this year it is going to be constructing, a temple on a land which earlier had the Babri Masjid, which
No,
is
the question though, Sana Mufti, is that question though is that this is.
Hang on, their larger messaging is that we are inept at handling the economy. So you please get used to it. You will not be in any position to buy underwear or toothpaste or even basic things. But as long as you keep voting for us, we'll keep punishing Muslims. This is the basic signaling.
You know, there will be those who will say that you're speaking the language of continuous victimhood. There are those who will be listening to you today and say, look, Sana, Iltija Mufti says we are not a democracy, but here she is on a mainstream news channel speaking this language. No one is censoring you. The question therefore is,
it's not about censoring. Rajdeep, my mother has been detained, or everybody in Jammu and Kashmir. It's just not about my mother being detained, by the way. Jammu and Kashmir is virtually an open-air prison right now.
But many believe that there is no great sympathy for the mainstream leaders. How do you respond to those who say there isn't any great sympathy for the Abdullahs or Muftis? How do you respond to those who say there's no great sympathy for the Abdullahs or Muftis?
Let me just complete. This is not about Abdullahs and Muftis. Last year when I came to your show for the very first time and you spoke to me about her detention, I stated this then that this is not about Muftis, it's not about Abdullahs. The BJP is deliberately pushing that narrative. They want to take focus away from the fact that what they've done here is patently illegal. People are very upset about it. There's a lot of anger, there's growing resentment, and clearly they just want to deflect the issue. I don't understand what is this nonsense. Mufti Abdullah, Pakistan, Mufti Abdullah, Gandhis. Are you not allies with the Badals? Are you not allies with other political families? Is this our fiefdom? Every time she's won an election, hasn't she won it? Isn't this a democracy? What is this Mufti Abdullah garbage that they keep throwing at us?
Okay, well, it's very interesting that your mother. It's very interesting that your mother was a BJP. It's interesting that your mother was a BJP ally till only the other day, till a couple of years ago, till it went all horribly wrong. But I just want to ask you, therefore, in conclusion, what's the way forward? Do you see this? Do you see any light at the end of this dark tunnel for your family, and dare I say, in your instance, you believe for the Kashmir Valley?
Well, Rajdeep, we're pretty much under solid. There's so much troop deployment here, Rajdeep. There's unimaginable state institutionalized repression. So if this is their plan of repressing us, holding us down, then they might as well just get done with this whole facade and sham of a democracy or whatever it is that they're saying. You push down domicile laws, you made sweeping changes to domicile rules in the middle of a pandemic, Rajdeep. This is something that was done in the middle of a pandemic. So they don't have good intentions to begin with.
Can I therefore ask you in conclusion on a personal note, do you meet your mother every day and how is she keeping?
Well, we live in the same house, but obviously the house is a sub-jail. So, we're not allowed to really move out freely. Nobody can come in. She's not allowed to speak to people. I don't understand, Rajdeep. 370 has been debated everywhere. It's been debated in the UN. It's been debated in the US Senate, House of Representatives, Turkey, Pakistan, even in the Indian Parliament. Then why don't we as Kashmiris have the right to debate something that affects us the most? Why has it been criminalized for us? There's so much troop deployment here. These troops need to be in Ladakh. They could save Chinese troops from invading our land, but they send troops here to crush dissent. Are they going to start using troops to crush dissent now, Rajdeep?
There's dissent and of course there's terrorist activity. There's dissent and there's terrorist activity. Dissent need not be criminalized, but there is also terror, so therefore you need a large security presence.
Well, there's been a spate in terrorist activities, Rajdeep, and we've had this discussion before where I told you that the fallout of the abrogation of Article 370, when you deliberately obliterate mainstream politics in a conflict state, what is going to happen is that young, impressionable men will automatically gravitate towards militancy because they don't have a middle ground. Why are you even surprised about this? We predicted that all of this was going to happen, whether it is demographic changes, disempowering Muslims, no development. Our economy has lost around 40,000 crores. Kids have lost an entire academic year. So for how long are we going to pretend that they actually mean well for Jammu and Kashmir? They don't.
When people are hearing you today, they'll say, well, maybe it's, Iltija Mufti, you're also skating a very thin ice. You're skating on thin ice. Do you see yourself also being kept under detention? Are you allowed to move freely?
No, I'm not allowed to move freely, Rajdeep, and I've been trying to visit my grandfather's grave for the past 1 year, and they just don't give me permission to move around freely, and I'm under constant heavy surveillance. So they monitor everything that I do is monitored, and you can see the way they've humiliated Miss Mufti as well. I mean, she's been kept in detention under a lawless law since. For the past year, she was detained. They slapped PSA on her. Her dossier, as you mentioned, was full of slander. There was a split that was orchestrated in her party. So they are punishing the people of Jammu and Kashmir, whether it's a Mehbooba Mufti, whether it's a journalist, Qadi, Qadi Shibli, everybody here is being punished, Rajdeep, just because they don't agree with their version.
Okay.
With what they want to hear.
Okay. Let's leave it there, Iltija Mufti. I've heard you. The people of this country have heard you, and all I can say is thank you very much for joining me, because here on the news today, we do not believe in criminalizing dissent. We believe that everyone must get an equal chance to be heard. Thank you very much for joining me here on the news today. Just enough time to come to our good news today story. Now, COVID-19 has halted lives across the world, but for some, the pandemic may have actually worked in their favor. This may surely stand true for Hyderabad's Mohammad Nuruddin, who cleared his board exams after 33 years of hard work. For more, let's have a look at today's Good News Today story.
The voice tell the grandfather that of the bean hand beating him. What this?
Mohammad Nuruddin's tussle with English language began 33 years ago, when he was just an 18-year-old and sported no moustache or beard. Since then, he has appeared for umpteen exams, trying to clear the one subject that has prevented him from becoming a matriculate.
मेरा जो है 1987 का जो एग्ज़ाम देते आया, अभी कोरोना की वजह से आज मेरे को 2020 तक के मेरे को सपना होके मैं कामयाब हो गया.
The tide turned this year. The coronavirus pandemic worked in his favor. Much to his surprise, the Telangana government passed everyone who appeared for the board exams this year. Nuruddin, who works as a watchman at Anjuman Boys High School in Mushirabad area of Hyderabad, is now a certified 10th pass.
केसीआर साहब का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया है कि मैं को जो है कामयाब कर दिए, और मेरे को इतना खुशी कभी नहीं हुई है. आज मेरे को इतना खुशी हो रही कि मेरे को जो है केसीआर साहब अपने पास कर दिए. इसके लिए मैं बहुत परेशान था. आज मैं बहुत खुशी है. मैं उनके पास जाऊंगा, जाके जो है मुबारकबादी देना बोल के है मेरे को. इसलिए कि आप लोगों को भी मुबारकबाद.
Nuruddin, who has realized his biggest dream, has one more wish to get a government job. With Ashish Pandey, Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, that's quite a story. Okay, let's leave you though with our image of the day. The historic return of the first commercially built and operated space capsule by SpaceX. 2 NASA astronauts in SpaceX Dragon capsule returned to Earth in its first splashdown since 1975. That's our image of the day. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.